जी जी
Yes, ma'am. 1 minute class is given. We already announced it.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I became late for me, so I just stayed back. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Wellness center.
Ah, yeah. I have not seen it, ma'am. I'll see when it. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I heard it online. Yes. Yes, ma'am. अभी है संसारद प्राणाय कारुण्यास्य कल्याणस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् महाकोपि कननृत्यगीता वादित्रमाद्यान्मनसोरसेन रोमाञ्चकम्प श्रुतरङ्गभाजो वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीग्रहाराधननित्यनाम शृङ्गरतान्मन्दिरमाजनाद तस्य भक्तांश्च नियुञ्जतोऽपि वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् चतुर्विधा श्री भगवत्प्रसादो स्वादन्नतृप्तान् हरिभक्तसङ्गं कृत्यैव तृप्तिं भजत सदैव वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् श्रीराधिका माधवयोरपार माधुर्यलीला गुणरूपनाम्ना प्रतीक्षणा धनलोलुपस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् निकुञ्जयो नो रतिकेलिसीते ययालिवीक्षणीया तस्य भक्तां च वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दं
साक्षाधरित्वेन समस्तशास्त्रे उक्तस्तथा भागवत एव समे किन्तु प्रभोर्य प्रिय एव तस्य वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् यस्य प्रसादात् भगवत्प्रसादो यस्य प्रसादात् न गति कुतोऽपि ध्यायं स्तुवंस्तस्य यशस्त्रीसन्ध्यं वन्दे गुरो श्रीचरणारविन्दम् 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 नमो विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामिनिति नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्यादेशतारिणे श्रीकृष्ण प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौरा भक्तवृंद नमस्ते नरसिंहाय प्रह्लादलाददाय हिरण्यकाशीपूर्वक्षया विलटङ्कनकादये इतो नरसिंहा परतो नरसिंहा यतो यतोयां ततो नरसिंहा भगीर्नरसिंहा हृदये नरसिंहमदं शरणं प्रपद्ये कामदहरे अद्भुतशृङ्गारं ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरिरूपा जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे जय जगदीश हरे तव कर कमल हरे अद्भुत ललिता हिरण्यकशिपु तनुभृङ्गा केशवधृता नरहरि Narasimhadev Jaya Narasimhadev Simhadev Jaya Narasimhadev. Yes, ma'am.
You can sit down.
Yes, ma'am. वृंदाय तुलसी प्रियाय केशव शचम कृष्ण भक्ति प्रभुदेवी सत्यवते नमो नमः. वृंदाय तुलसी देवी प्रियाय केशव शच विष्णु भक्ति प्रतिदेवी सत्यवते नमो नमः. वृंदाय तुलसी देवी प्रियाय केशव शच विष्णु भक्ति प्रतिदेवी सत्यवते नमो नमः. Namo Namaha Tulasi Krishna Prayasi Namo Namaha Braja Radha Krishna Seva Pavo Ei Abhilashi Je tumhara sharanda tara vancha purna kripa kari karo tare Vrindavan Moraya Vila Vilas Kunja Diyova Nayane Ribo Sada Jugalar Parashi Eni Vedanadara Sakhirano Gatakara Sevadikara Diya Guru Nijarasi Dina Krishna Dasika Eyana Moraha Sri Radha Govinda Preme Sadaya Navasi Namo Namo Tulasi Krishna Preyasi Namo Namo Yani Kani Cha Papani Brahma Tyadikani Cha Tani Tani Prana Shanti Pradakshina Pure Pade Yani Kani Cha Papani Brahma Tyadikani Cha Tani Tani Prana Shanti Pradakshina Pure Pade Yani Rani Japapani Brahmatyadikani Cha Tani Tani Prana Shanti Pradakshina Pade Pade Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
हाँ तो अंधेरा है बहुत
Hare Rama,
अंधेरा है अंधेरा नहीं होगा नहीं किसी को लेकर जाना है ना दो दो चार लोग जाएंगे स्ट्रिक्टली
वृंदाय तुलसीदेवी प्रियाय केशवश्च विष्णुपते व्रतदेवी सत्यवते नमो
उड़े आई मिष्ट मंगला
Yes, ma'am. I can go after 9 o'clock, 9:30.
हाँ जी नहीं माता जी भी है साथ में माता जी बाहर बैठे हैं। How is your business now?
Business is Maharaj. We are going on, Maharaj. We are trying to sustain. Yes, Maharaj. Yes, Maharaj.
More shukra है especially the body.
Orders are there, Maharaj. We are executing it.
मराठी ये थे
हाँ.
सूर्यदास पुत्र है मराठी में
Yes.
you also reading
Yeah, I can.
8th canto
It can.
so कौन सा पन्ना हमारा 8th canto chapter 1 text 13
Which chapter?
chapter 1 text 13
Canto 8, Chapter 1, Text 13. Translation. The entire cosmic manifestation is the body of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the Absolute Truth, who has millions of names and unlimited potencies. He is self-effulgent, unborn, and changeless. He is the beginning of everything. but he has no beginning. Because he has created this cosmic manifestation by his external energy, the universe appears to be created, maintained, and annihilated by him. Nonetheless, he remains inactive in his spiritual energy and is untouched by the activities of the material energy. Purport. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in the Shikshastak, Nam Namakari Bahudani Jasrava Shakti, the Supreme Personality of Godhead has many names, which are all non-different from the Supreme Person. This is spiritual existence. By chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra consisting of names of the Supreme Lord, we find that the name has all the potencies of the person. The Lord's activities are many, and according to his activities, he has many names. He appeared as the son of Mother Yashoda and also known as the son of Mother Devaki, and therefore he is named Devaki Nandan and Yashoda Nandan. Parasya Shakti Vividhaiva Sruyate. The Lord has multitude energies and therefore he acts in multifarious ways. Yet he has a particular name. The Shastras recommend which names we should chant, such as Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It is not that we have to search for some name or manufacture one. Rather, we must follow the saintly persons and the Shastras in chanting his holy name. Although the material energy and spiritual energies both belong to the Supreme Lord, he is impossible to understand as long as we are in the material energy. And when we come to the spiritual energy, he is very easy to know. As stated in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.7.23, Mayam Vyudasya Chit Shaktya Kaivalya Sthita Atmani. Although the external energy belongs to the Lord, when one is in the external energy, Mama Maya Duratyaya, he is very difficult to understand. However, when one comes in the spiritual energy, one can understand him. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita 18.55, it is said, Bhaktyamam avijanati yavan yaschasmi tattvataha. One who wants to understand the Supreme Personality of Godhead in reality must take to the platform of Bhakti or Krishna consciousness. This Bhakti consists of various activities: Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakyam, Atmanevedanam. And to understand the Lord, one must take this path of devotional service. Even though the people of the world have forgotten God and may say that God is dead, this is not a fact. One can understand God when one takes to Krishna consciousness movement, and thus one can be happy. Text 14, translation. Therefore, to enable people to reach the stage of activities that are not tinged by fruitive results, great saints first engage people in fruitive activities, for unless one begins by performing activities as recommended in the Shastras, one cannot reach the stage of liberation or activities that produce no reactions. Purport. In Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Lord Krishna advises, Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karmavandana. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu has to be performed, otherwise work binds one to this material world. Generally, everyone is attracted to hard labor for becoming happy in this material world, but although various activities are going on all over the world simply for the sake of happiness, unfortunately, only problems are being created from such fruitive activities. Therefore, it is advised that active persons engage in activities of Krishna consciousness, which are called yajna, because then they will gradually come to the platform of devotional service. Yajna means Lord Vishnu, the Yajna Purusha, the enjoyer of all sacrifices, Bhoktaram Yajna Tapasams, Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is actually the enjoyer. And therefore, if we begin our activities for his satisfaction, we will gradually lose our taste for material activities. Suta Goswami declared to the great assembly of sages at Naimisharanya, Ata Pumbir Vijasreshta Varnashrama Vibhavesha Swanushtitasya Dharmasya Samsiddhir Haritoshanam. O best among the twice born, it is concluded that the highest perfection one can achieve by discharging his prescribed duties, dharma, according to caste divisions and order of life, is to please Lord Hari. Bhagavatam 1.2.13. According to the Vedic principle, everyone must act according to his classification as Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. Everyone should progress toward perfection by acting in such a way that Krishna will be pleased. Samsiddhi Haritoshana. One cannot please Krishna by sitting idly. One must act according to the directions of the spiritual master for the sake of pleasing the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then one will gradually come to the stage of pure devotional service. As confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.12, Naishkarmyam apyachyuta bhava varjitam na shobhate jnanam alam niranjanam. Knowledge of self-realization, even though freed from all material affinity, does not look well if devoid of a conception of the infallible God. Jnanis recommend that one adopt Naishkarmya by doing nothing but simply meditating and thinking of Brahman. But this is impossible unless one realizes Parabrahman, Krishna. If there is no Krishna consciousness, any kind of activity, be it philanthropic, political or social, simply causes karma bandhana, bondage or material bondage to material work. As long as one is engaged in karma bandhan, one must accept different types of bodies that spoil the human form of facility. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita 6.3, Karma Yoga is recommended. Arurukshur muner yogam karma karanam uchyate yogarudhasya tasyaiva shama karanam uchyate. For one who is a neophyte in the yoga system, work is said to be the means, and for one who has already attained to yoga, cessation of all material activities is said to be the means. Nonetheless, karmendriyani sanyamya ya aste manasasmaran indriyarthan vimodatma mithyacharasa uchyate. One who restrains the senses and the organs of action, but whose mind dwells on sense objects, certainly deludes himself and is called a pretender. Bhagavad Gita 3.6. One should act for Krishna very seriously in order to become fully Krishna conscious, and should not sit down to imitate such great personalities as Haridas Thakur. Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur commended such imitation. He said, Dushta man tumi kisera Vaishnava pratishtharatare nirjanera ghare tava harinama kevala kaitava. My dear mind, what kind of devotee are you? Simply for cheap adoration, you sit in a solitary place and pretend to chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but this is all cheating. Recently at Mayapur, an African devotee wanted to imitate Haridas Thakur, but after 15 days, he became restless and went away. Do not suddenly try to imitate Haridas Thakur. Engage yourself in Krishna conscious activities, and gradually you will come to the stage of liberation. Muktir Hitvanyatha Rupam Swarupena Vyavasthitihi. Translation to text 15. As Supreme. Yes. Day. Friday, Maharaj. Translation to text 15. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is full in opulence by his own gain, yet he acts as the creator, maintainer, annihilator of this material world. In spite of acting in that way, he is never entangled. Hence, devotees who follow in his footsteps are also never entangled. Purport. As stated in Bhagavad Gita 3.9, Yajnarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. Work done as a sacrifice for Vishnu to be performed, otherwise work binds one to this material world. If we do not act in Krishna consciousness, we shall be entangled like silkworms in cocoons. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, appears in order to teach us how to work, so that we will not be entangled in this material world. Our real problem is that we are entangled in materialistic activities, and because we are conditioned, our struggle continues through punishment in material existence in one body after another in different forms of life. As the Lord says in Bhagavad Gita, Mamayvamsho jivaloke jiva bhuta sanatanaha manashasthani indriyani prakritisthani karshati. The living entities in this conditioned world are my eternal fragmental part. Due to the conditioned life, they are struggling very hard with 6 senses, which include the mind. The living entities are actually minute forms who are part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. The Supreme Lord is full in everything, and small particles of the Lord are also originally qualified like him. But because of their minute existence, They are infected by material attraction and thus entangled. We must therefore follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and then, like Krishna, who is never entangled by his materialistic activities of creation, maintenance, and annihilation, we will have nothing for which to lament. Navasidanti yenutam. Krishna personally gives instruction in Bhagavad Gita, and anyone who follows these instructions is liberated. Following Krishna's instructions is possible when one is a devotee. For Krishna instructs that one should become a devotee. Man mana bhava mad bhakto mad yaji mam namaskuru. Always think of me and become my devotee. Worship me and offer your homage unto me. Always thinking of Krishna means chanting this Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But unless one is an initiated devotee, he cannot do this. As soon as one becomes a devotee, he engages in deity worship, Madhyaji. A devotee's business is to offer obeisances to the Lord and the spiritual master constantly. This principle is the recognized way to come to the platform of bhakti. As soon as one comes to this platform, he gradually understands the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and simply understanding Krishna, one is liberated from material bondage. Translation to text 16. The Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna works just like an ordinary human being. He does not desire to enjoy the fruits of work. He is full in knowledge, free from material desires and diversions, and completely independent. As the supreme teacher of human society, he teaches his own way of activities, and thus he inaugurates the real path of religion. I request everyone to follow him. This purport, this is the sum and substance of our Krishna consciousness movement. We are simply requesting human society to follow the footsteps of the teacher of Bhagavad Gita. Follow the instructions of Bhagavad Gita as it is, and your life will be successful. That is the summary of the Krishna consciousness movement. The organizer of the Krishna consciousness movement is teaching everyone how to follow Lord Ramchandra, how to follow Lord Krishna, and how to follow Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In this material world, we need a leader for a monarchy or good government. Lord Sri Ramachandra, by his practical example, showed how to live for the benefit of the human society. He fought with demons like Ravana. He carried out the orders of his father, and he remained the faithful husband of Mother Sita. Thus, there is no comparison to Lord Ramchandra's acting as ideal king. Indeed, people still hanker for Ramarajya as government conducted like that of Lord Ramchandra. Similarly, although Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he taught his disciple and devotee Arjuna how to lead a life ending in going back home, back to Godhead. Tyaktva deham punarjanma naiti mamidi so Arjuna. All teachings, political, economic, social, religious, cultural and philosophical, are to be found in Bhagavad Gita. One only has to follow them strictly. The Supreme Personality of Godhead also comes as Lord Chaitanya just to play the part of pure devotee. Thus the Lord teaches us in different ways just to make our life successful, and Swayambhu Manu requests us to follow him. Swayambhu Manu is the leader of mankind, and he has given a book called Manu Samvita to guide human society. Herein he directs us to follow the Supreme Personality of Godhead in his different incarnations. These incarnations are described in Vedic literature, and Jayadeva Goswami has described 10 important incarnations in summary. Keshava Dhrita Meena Sharira Jai Jagadish Hare. Keshava Dhrita Narahari Rupa Jai Jagadish Hare. Keshava Dhrita Buddha Sharira Jai Jagadish Hare, etc. Swayambhu Manu instructs us to follow the instructions of God's incarnations, especially Krishna's instructions of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Appreciating Bhakti Marga as instructed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvam Bhattacharya thus depicted the
गुरु पूजा के बाद वॉक पे जाएंगे दर्शनार्थी।
दर्शन के बाद गुरु पूजा कर देंगे।
गाड़ी तैयार रखना।
गाड़ी दे रहे हैं।
और क्लास के टाइम पे महाराज नहीं चाहते कि बार बार मैं क्लास दे रहे तो ज़्यादा लोग नहीं जाए साथ में, तो क्लास में लोग कम हो जाएंगे, 4-5 लोग जाएंगे खाली बस। तो आप भगाएगा ना, नहीं जा रहा तो आनंद हो रहा तो बोलता हूँ। ठीक है।
Appreciating Bhakti Marga as instructed by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sarvam Bhattacharya thus depicted the activities of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Vairagya Vidya Nija Bhakti Yoga Shikshartham Eka Purusha Purana Sri Krishna Chaitanya Sharira Dhari Kripam Budhir Yastam Aham Prapadye. Let me take shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who has descended in the form of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to teach us real knowledge, his devotional service and detachment from whatever does not foster Krishna consciousness. He has descended because he is an ocean of transcendental mercy. Let me surrender unto his lotus feet. Chaitanya Chandrodaya Nataka 6.74. In this age of Kali, people cannot follow the instructions of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and therefore the Lord himself takes the part of Sri Krishna Chaitanya to teach personally how to become Krishna conscious. He asks everyone to follow him and to become a guru to deliver the fallen souls of Kali Yuga. Yare dekha tare kaho Krishna upadesh, amar agya guru hayya tara desh. Instruct everyone to follow the orders of Lord Sri Krishna as they are given in Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. In this way, become a spiritual master and try to liberate everyone in this land. Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya 7.128. The coherent purpose of Lord Ramchandra, Lord Krishna and Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is to teach human society how to be happy by following the instructions of the Supreme Lord. Translation to text 17. Shukadeva Goswami continued, Swayambhu Manu was thus in a trance, chanting the mantras of the Vedic instructions known as the Upanishads. Upon seeing him, the Rakshasas and Asuras, being very hungry, wanted to devour him. Therefore, they ran after him with great speed. Translation text 18. The Supreme Lord Vishnu, who sits in everyone's heart, appearing as Yajnapati, observed that the Rakshasas and demons were going to devour Swayambhu Manu. Thus the Lord, accompanied by his sons named the Yamas, and by all other demigods, killed the demons and Rakshasas. He then took the post of Indra and began to rule the heavenly kingdom. Translation text 19. The son of Agni, named Swarochisha, became the second Manu. His several sons were headed by Yumat, Sushena and Rochismat. Purport to text 19. There are many incarnations. Manvantaram, Manurdeva, Manuputra, Sureshwaraha, Rishayo, Amshavatarascha, Hare Sadvidam, Shadvidam Uchyate. There are many incarnations of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Manu, the Manuputra, the king of the heavenly planets, the 7 great sages are all partial incarnations of the Supreme Lord. Manu himself, his sons Priyavrat and Uttanpad, the demigods created by Daksha, and rishis like Marichi were all partial incarnations of the Lord during the reign of Swayambhu Manu. During that time, the incarnations of the Lord as Yajna took charge of the ruling of the heavenly planets. The next Manu was Swarochisha. The Manus and the sages and demigods are further described in the following 11 verses. Translation to text 20. During the reign of Swarochisha, the post of Indra was assumed by Rochana, the son of Yagya. Tushita and others became the principal demigods, and Urja, Stamba, and others became seven saints. All of them were faithful devotees of the Lord. Translation text 21. Vedashira was a very celebrated rishi. From the womb of his wife, whose name was Tushita, came avatar named Vibhu. Translation text 22. Vibhu remained a brahmachari and never married throughout his life. From him, 88,000 other saintly persons took lessons on self-control, austerity, and similar behavior. Translation text 23. O king, the third Manu, Uttama, was the son of King Priyavrata. Among the sons of his Manu were Pavana, Srinjaya, and Yajnahotra. Translation to text 24. During the reign of the third Manu, Pramada and other sons of Vashishta became the seven sages. The Satyas, Vedashrutas, and Bhadras became demigods. The Satyajit was selected to be Indra, the king of heaven. Translation text 25. In this Manvantara, the Supreme Personality of Godhead appeared from the womb of Sundrita, who was the wife of Dharma, the demigod in charge of religion. The Lord was celebrated as Satyasena, and he appeared with other demigods known as Satyavratas. Translation text 26. Satyasena, along with his friend Satyajit, who was the king of heaven, Indra, killed all the untruthful, impious, and misbehaved yakshas, rakshasas, and ghostly living entities who gave pains to other living beings. Translation text 27. The brother of the third Manu, Uttama, was celebrated by the name Tamasa, and he became the fourth Manu. Tamasa had 10 sons headed by Prithu, Khyati, Nara, and Ketu. Translation text 28. During the reign of Tamasa Manu, among the demigods were the Satyakas, Haris, and Viras. The heavenly king Indra was Trishikha. The sages in Saptarshi Dham were headed by Jyotirdham. Translation text 29. O king, in the Tamasa Manvantar, the sons of Vidhriti, who were known as Vaidhritis, also became demigods. Since in course of time the Vedic authority was lost, these demigods by their own powers protected the Vedic authority. Purport to text 29. In the Tamasa Manvantar, there were two kinds of demigods, and one of them was known as the Vaidhritis. The duty of the demigods is to protect the authorities of Vedas. The word Devata refers to one who carries the authority of the Vedas, whereas Rakshasas are those who defy the Vedic authority. If the authorities of the Vedas is lost, the entire universe becomes chaotic. Therefore, it is the duties of the demigods as well as kings and aides of governments to give full protection to the Vedic authority. Otherwise, human society will be in chaotic condition in which there cannot be peace and prosperity. Translation to text 30. Also in this Manvantar, the Supreme Lord Vishnu took birth from the womb of Harini, the wife of Harimedha, and he was known as Hari. Hari saved his devotee Gajendra, the king of elephants, from the mouth of crocodile. Sri Raja. Translation to text 31. King Parishit said, My Lord Badarayani, we wish to hear from you in detail how the king of elephants, when attacked by a crocodile, was delivered by Hari. Translation to text 39. Any literature or narration in which the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Uttama Shloka, is described and glorified is certainly great, pure, glorious, auspicious, and all good. Purport to text 32. The Krishna consciousness movement is spreading all over the world simply by describing Krishna. We have published many books including Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita in 17 volumes 400 pages each, as well as Bhagavad Gita, the Nectar of Devotion, and the Nectar of Devotion. We are also publishing Srimad Bhagavatam in 60 volumes. Wherever a speaker holds discourses from these books and an audience hears him, this will create a good and auspicious situation. Therefore, the preaching of Krishna consciousness must be done very carefully by the members of Krishna consciousness movement, especially the sannyasis. This will create auspicious atmosphere. Translation to text 33. Shri Suta Goswami said, O Brahmanas, when Parikshit Maharaj, who was awaiting impending death, thus requested Shukadeva Goswami to speak, Shukadeva Goswami, encouraged by the king's words, offered respect to the king and spoke with great pleasure in the assembly of sages who desired to hear him. Thus ended the Bhaktivedanta purport of the 8th canto, 1st chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Manus, Administrators of the Universe.
So beautiful, isn't it?
Yes, Maharaj.
So beautiful.
So beautiful purpose.
Yes, Maharaj.
I'm thinking of mayonnaise.
This last purport, Prabhupada explains the importance of books.
You can go to the next chapter.
Go to the next chapter, Maharaj.
If you want.
Okay. Yes, Maharaj. Summary to chapter 2. The second, third, and fourth chapters of this canto describe how the Lord, during the reign of fourth Manu, gave protection to the king of the elephants. As described in the second chapter, when the king of the elephants among his female elephants was enjoying in the water, a crocodile suddenly attacked them, and the elephant surrendered to the Lord's feet of the personality of Godhead for protection. In the midst of the ocean of milk, there is a very high and beautiful mountain which has an altitude of 10,000 yojanas or 80,000 miles. This mountain is known as Trikuta. In a valley of Trikuta, there is a nice garden named Ritumat, which was constructed by Varuna, and in that area there is a very nice lake. Once the chief of the elephants along with his female elephants went to enjoy bathing in the lake, and they disturbed the inhabitants of the water. Because of this, the chief crocodile in that water, who was very powerful, immediately attacked the elephant's leg. Thus there ensued a great fight between the elephant and crocodile. This fight continued for 1,000 years. Neither the elephant nor the crocodile died, but since they were in the water, the elephant gradually became weak, whereas the power of crocodile increased more and more. Thus the crocodile became more and more encouraged. Then the elephant, being helpless and seeing that there was no other way for his protection, sought shelter at the lotus feet of Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation to text 1. Shukadeva Goswami said, My dear king, there is a very large mountain called Trikuta. It is 10,000 yojanas or 80,000 miles high, being surrounded by the ocean of milk. It is very beautifully situated. Translation to text 2 and 3. The length and breadth of the mountain are of the same measurement, 80,000 miles. Its three principal peaks, which are made of iron, silver, and gold, beautify all directions in the sky. The mountain also has other peaks which are full of jewels and minerals and are decorated with nice trees, creepers, and shrubs. The sounds of the waterfalls on the mountain create a pleasing vibration. In this way, the mountain stands, increasing the beauty of all directions. Translation to text 4. The ground at the foot of the mountain is always washed by waves of milk that produce emeralds all around in the 8 directions, north, south, east, west, and directions midway between them. Purport. From Srimad Bhagavatam, we understand that there are various oceans. Somewhere there is an ocean filled with milk, somewhere an ocean of liquor, an ocean of ghee, an ocean of oil, and an ocean of sweet water. Thus, there are different varieties of oceans within this universe. The modern scientists who have only limited experience cannot defy these statements. They cannot give us full information about any planet, even the planet on which we live. From this verse, however, we can understand that if the valleys of some mountains are washed with milk, this produces emeralds. No one has the ability to imitate the activity of the material nature as conducted by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Translation text 5. The inhabitants of the higher planets, the Siddhas, Charanas, Gandharvas, Vidyadharas, Serpents, Kinnaras, and Apsaras, go to that mountain to sport. Thus, all the caves of the mountain are full of denizens of the heavenly planets. Purport. An ordinary man may play in the salty ocean. The inhabitants of the higher planetary system go to the ocean of milk. They float in